Right, if you're going to make noises.
I know we're running short of time, and there are many other people that wish to speak in this debate. But one of the big problems, I think, is the fact that the members, the family members of the children in Burley have rapidly lost confidence in the Lancashire County Council Education Department, as I'm sure across the country family members lose confidence in their education authorities. And I think we need to do something to try to resolve this situation. And I hope that after this debate the Minister will pick up the cudgel of children with autism, particularly the ones in my constituency, and try if they can to look, as my right honourable friend at the back has suggested, that we find out what the problems are earlier and we deliver the services sooner. So I hope that the Minister will pick that up. Thank you very much.
Mark Hendrick.
Madam Deputy Speaker, can I first of all congratulate the Honourable Member for Burnley in securing this important debate on an issue which is very, very close to a lot of people who are sat here today in the Chamber. Clearly, whilst it might not have been originally intended to be seen as an attack on Lancashire County Council, nevertheless many serious accusations have been made against the County Council, and as the County Council clearly is not here in any capacity to try and defend itself, having spoken to a number of members of that County Council, in particular spokespeople for the area and the topics that the Honourable Member for Burnley has raised, I do find it important to respond, having spoken to County Councillors, to some of the points the Member for Burnley has raised. In Lancashire there are 1,435 children and young people that have autism spectrum disorder, commonly referred to as ASD, of which 1,129 have a statement and 306 are Action Plus for autism spectrum disorder. Of these, 698 are placed in mainstream primary and secondary schools, with the remaining 596 being placed in maintained special schools and 141 placed in independent, non-maintained special schools. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, I think you can probably gather from the numbers that I've just quoted, the three cases that the Honourable Member has mentioned are very, very, very much in a minority and could in no way, through any statistical analysis, be considered indicative, if the Honourable Member is to be fully believed, of the type of treatment that is going on in general across Lancashire County Council. Yeah, sure.
Does the right honourable member believe then the minority should just be left, or surely all children should receive the same? Is what he's saying, that the Lancashire County Council have delivered over a lot, but there are a minority they haven't. So should these minority just be left on the scrap heap? Surely he's not suggesting that.
No, of course I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is that everybody should have the best possible treatment available. And what I wouldn't want is for the, given the way that you presented your case for these three children, for that to be seen as the norm. I would want it to be seen as the exception. All children deserve the best, and the best that Lancashire County Council could possibly give them. But out of the 1,435 children and young people that are being treated by Lancashire County Council, I wouldn't want three to be considered the norm for the rest.
Thank my honourable friend for giving way. I think we all must agree that the three cases, the very distressing picture that was painted of Chloe, Jack and Honey, are worrying to us as parliamentarians. But of course, we could all bring similar sorts of cases here today. I think what we hopefully are going to be able to achieve is to help those people who are family members, perhaps, or carers of people with people on the autistic spectrum, and to highlight programmes such as autism initiatives in Liverpool that provide a signposting service so that family members can get support, and also to ensure that they do get this early intervention and the assessment and diagnosis which is so necessary because autism stays with somebody all of their lives, not just when they're at school.
I thank my honourable friend for his intervention, and indeed I'm going to go on to speak about some of the work that Lancashire County Council is doing in that area, and I'd be grateful if, I presume you're making a contribution later, if you could talk about a bit of your experience as well in Merseyside or Liverpool. Lancashire County Council also makes provision for short breaks for children with ASD and has commissioned over £182,000 worth of short breaks provision from local specialist autism services for evenings, weekends and school holidays to provide activities for children, whilst also providing breaks from caring for their parents and carers. From the most recent attainment data, at the end of Key Stage 2, 73% of children with ASD made 2 levels of progress in English compared to 94% of all pupils, while 69% of children with ASD made 2 levels of progress in mathematics compared to 93% of all pupils, which given their conditions I think is a tremendous achievement. Of the children who were statemented with ASD and taking their GCSEs in mainstream schools, between 2011 and 2013, 75% of them gained 5 A to C, including English and Maths. This is well above the national average of 60.8% for all children during the same period. Lancashire schools have access to considerable expertise in autism, provided by specialist advisory teachers and by educational psychologists. This is supplemented by the rapidly developing school-to-school support, where centres of expertise based at special schools are providing an increasing range of guidance and support to their colleagues in primary and secondary schools. For children and young people, Madam Deputy Speaker, with more complex autism, Lancashire special schools have developed much greater expertise. All special schools for generic learning difficulties are funded to meet as a wide range of special educational needs as possible. They are all able to provide pupils with autism, and several have chosen to specialise in autism by developing staff training programmes and by allocating substantially increased resources to this specialism. In several cases, this has been recognised by Ofsted inspectors. The Honourable Member for Burnley raises issues on behalf of 3 of his constituents where parents obviously seek what is effectively private school education for their children who have autism. Whereas the Council has identified provision in at least 2 of the Council's maintained special schools judged by Ofsted to be good and outstanding. In both cases, parents have appealed obviously to first tier and upper tier tribunals, which have found in favour of the Council, and the Honourable Member for Burnley made that point in his own speech, and directed that the children go to the maintained special schools. The outcome of a further appeal to the upper tribunal by one of the families is obviously awaited. The final case that was referenced, all Lancashire special schools for learning difficulties, there are 23 in total, are rated as good or better by Ofsted. And I fully appreciate that parents, particularly of the 3 children involved, will want to fight for what they see as the best opportunities and outcomes for their children. The Honourable Member for Burnley would, and I would too. The recent behaviour, language and actions of those involved, and by that I refer to the Member for Burnley, has caused considerable anxieties for many families, whilst also conveying a partial view of the provision made by the Council. And what I'm saying in that, Madam Deputy Speaker, is where there are schools that are doing a great deal of good work in this area, the constant bombardment by the Honourable Member for Burnley in the Lancashire press towards those schools and towards Lancashire County Council is causing considerable anxiety, not only amongst the staff at some of these special schools, but also amongst many of the parents of the children that go to those schools. So it's one thing representing, and he's quite entitled to do so, concerned parents who are concerned about their children, but this also has an effect, rightly or wrongly, on children and parents in other schools where the Council is giving good teaching and good provision. On a number of occasions, the Honourable Member for Burnley has also suggested that LCC officers have not been completely truthful about their approach to considering parents' expressions of preference for special educational placements in independent, non-maintained special schools. The Council refutes these allegations. If I could turn specifically to the cases outlined by the Honourable Member for Burnley. In the first case of Chloe Wold, I think the case in itself is a tragedy, and I don't think anybody who could look at the record of Chloe Wold could say anything other than that, and I completely concur with the Honourable Member for Burnley about her situation and the fact that she's been in this condition now for some time and is on suicide watch. So I totally sympathise with the parents in the case of Chloe Wold, and obviously would not in any way differ from what has been said regarding her case. Yeah, sure.
I'm interested into what the Right Honourable Gentleman is saying, but basically he's obviously well briefed by the County Council and he's answering this debate on behalf of the County Council. This debate is about autism within schools. I don't understand where he's coming from. I don't really want the Right Honourable Member to answer on behalf of the County Council. I really want to listen to what his solutions is to the problem that my constituents are suffering.
Well, I thank the Honourable Gentleman for his intervention, but as he well knows from his own.
Not a county council, nor about party politics, nor opinions about party politics in a particular part of the country. It's a very serious debate about a serious issue which affects the whole country. And so far, everyone who has spoken has been perfectly in order in doing so. If the Honourable Gentleman, who now holds the floor, wishes to continue his speech, the Honourable Gentleman who has already held the floor for some considerable time really ought to allow him to do so. He is in order. Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and the Honourable Member from Burnley will concur with me that I was totally in agreement and sympathetic to the points he made with regard to Chloe Wold, a case that he himself raised. If it is the case that he's willing to listen to me when I agree with him, but not when he disagrees with me, that's a matter himself. But moving on to the second of his three cases, with regards to Jack Entwistle, the school that Jack was offered is Pendle View Primary School. Now, I won't go into great detail about the expertise and everything that this school offers, but we'll just quote from Ofsted. Those pupils who have additional sensory support also make excellent progress, often in short periods of time, because of the high quality and intense support they get from Pendle View Primary School. Now, the local MP, who's actually the Honourable Member for Pendle, also visited that school on Friday the 15th of November 2013. He toured the school, discussed the provision for pupils with particular reference to special educational needs. He was very supportive and impressed with the work of the schools and the specialisms that Lancashire County Council provide for the children of Pendle with special educational needs and with that school in particular. So that just gives the other side of the story about the particular school that Jack Entwistle was offered. On the final case, Madam Deputy Speaker, with regard to Honey Crossley, the school that Honey was offered and has obviously been in some contact with is Broadfield Specialist School. Again, now Lancashire County Council maintain secondary school. Again, if I can quote from Ofsted, Madam Deputy Speaker. Ofsted said, the school's expertise in promoting learning for students with autism is extensively recognised and respected by many local schools. Mr. Burton, the Honourable Member for Burnley, I understand, although he didn't mention it in his speech, met with the Minister.
I'm listening very carefully because there's a dialogue going on here between two members of this members of this House, and this is a very serious and open debate about a general issue which affects the whole country and hundreds of thousands of children throughout the whole country. And the honourable gentleman just ought to be very careful before he quotes another member who has not said today in the House what he's about to quote that he's going to say. So I'm warning him to be very careful and to remain within order. If he wishes to take up a point which the honourable gentleman has made this afternoon, that's a different matter. Mr. Hendrick.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I would make no attempt to address the honourable member for Burnley any other way other than through you. So it's not a dialogue in the way that you would indicate. Secondly, I'm not going to quote from the Minister concerned, but what I will say is Lancashire County Council have received correspondence from the Minister concerned, and the Minister in that correspondence confirmed Lancashire County Council's advice was that the appropriate way forward for parents was through Sendist, which is a tribunal system which is on offer to the Honourable Member for Burnley's constituents. I think I've made the points that would have been made had other people been present here at this debate, and so I thank the Madam Deputy Speaker and the Honourable Member for Burnley for bringing forward this debate today. Thank you.